Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. While my dear colleague Arantxa was speaking on the importance of partnerships with the private sector, I wish to speak about the public-private partnerships for the implementation of the 2030 agenda, because it is very close to our hearts at the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. And therefore I am very pleased to have an opportunity to speak today at this event organized jointly by the Joint Inspection Unit of the United Nations and the World Association for Sustainable Development. As we have heard, the UNEC is a normative organization. We develop technical standards, guidelines and best practices in many fields pertaining to economic development, including PPPs. Mobilizing new investments in high-quality infrastructure projects is essential, and especially in low and middle-income countries. Such investments can directly eradicate poverty by ensuring access to public services, such as health, education, energy, water, and sanitation. A further critical challenge is climate change. There is a need to promote investments in resilience and to address the risk faced by all people, especially the economically and socially disadvantaged. The SDGs create a new challenge for PPPs. Traditionally, PPPs have been seen as a value-for-money tool with little regard to mitigating poverty. This is not fit for purpose for the SDGs, nor there is a guarantee that the traditional PPP model will support the successful achievement of the SDGs. There has yet to be a model that is both transformative and responds to the challenges of low and middle-income countries where arguably PPPs are needed the most. We need to adapt the traditional PPP model to the SDGs by placing people at the core. PPPs must be implemented according to a broader set of holistic criteria and undertake projects that create value for people. People-first PPP projects should increase access to essential services, especially to vulnerable groups. They need to have particularly strong economic effectiveness and transformational impact. They should be replicable. They should cut or significantly reduce CO2 emissions. They should make infrastructure more resilient, and they should engage effectively with all stakeholders. A set of guiding principles on people-first PPPs are being elaborated by the UNEC in consultation with a wider UN family, governments, the private sector and civil society organizations. Today, I would like to talk about a particular place where the private sector can make a big difference, and that place is cities. Nowadays, the share of people living in cities is 54% and is expected to rise to 66% in 2050. This percentage reaches 82% in North America and 73% in Europe, which both belong to the UNEC region. Today, cities are struggling to address many challenges such as aging, migration, inequality, security, urban sprawl, informal settlements, pollution and climate change. PPPs must therefore adapt to the reality of cities. Done correctly, the positive results from PPPs can benefit all within the urban context. UNEC has for many years assisted governments to improve their PPP enabling environment via targeted policy advice and capacity building programs. This facilitates private sector involvement in infrastructure and the delivery of public services. We are also developing PPP standards to assist the engagement of public authorities with the private sector. These voluntary standards are organized by sectors and provide SDG-driven project models. They provide good governance approaches and policy recommendations on risk allocation and financing. The focus of these standards is on improving partnering capacity, accelerating projects and investments, and reducing transaction costs. Standards are currently being developed in many sectors such as water and sanitation, health policy, renewable energy, urban rail, roads and airports. These are all extremely relevant to the transition to smart, sustainable cities. The first standard launched by UNECE is on a zero-tolerance approach to corruption in PPP procurement. Corruption is, of course, a key disincentive for private sector investment. As I have already said, if implemented correctly, PPPs have a great potential supporting the transition to a smart, sustainable cities. As part of our work on making PPPs fit for purpose, we have also compiled a large list of success stories on people-first PPPs. These are available also on our website. I hope they can be inspiring to you. I would like to share just a couple of them. The first is a PPP for the electric buses in Geneva. A special partnership including Transport Public Genevois, Service Industriel de Genève and ABB Secheron was formed to deploy smart and revolutionary recharging technology. It allows electric buses in Geneva to rapidly recharge their batteries at bus stops, giving buses unlimited autonomy. The new buses will replace diesel engine buses, resulting in the elimination of thousands of tons of CO2 emissions every year, the reduction of noise pollution by half, and the removal of overhead electrical cables from streets and squares in Geneva. Another project from the UNECE region is, for instance, Pamir Hydropower plant in Tajikistan. The partners are the Ministry of Energy and Water Resource of Tajikistan, Pamir Energy, the Aga Khan Foundation, and the government of Switzerland. This project combines commercial success and social and economic effectiveness. It solved the problem of intermittent power supplies and insufficient heating in winter in a low-income region. Today, citizens have all-day power supplies, and the project is being extended to include the whole country and even outside to neighboring Afghanistan and Pakistan. As you can see, amazing results are possible if the private and public sector partner effectively. UNECE's Housing and Land Management Unit also works on the intersection of cities and the private sector. We compile, disseminate and exchange information and experiences on smart, sustainable cities, including housing, urban development and land administration policies. In addition, we develop standards in the areas of smart, sustainable cities, energy, environment and transport, and promote national frameworks for innovation in the member states, which are indispensable for the development of cities. We work with private sector experts on energy, environment, land use planning, etc., as well as other stakeholders through our Real Estate Markets Advisory Board. Thanks to support of this advisory group, we develop a series of integrated studies, including on smart and sustainable urban development, with information on good practices from the UNECE region and also beyond. UNECE is a partner of the global initiative called United for Smart Sustainable Cities with the International Telecommunication Union and actively collaborates with the private sector in this context as well. In particular, this initiative elaborated key performance indicators for smart sustainable cities, which are a free international standard. These indicators fully reflect the SDGs and help cities to evaluate their performance and achievements against the SDG targets. As part of these United Smart Cities, an online marketplace with smart city projects is being developed and is expected to be online this summer. It will connect directly cities with industry and finance sector stakeholders interested in investing into these projects. The UNEC is not only advising but also supporting the implementation of concrete smart sustainable city projects in cooperation with private sector. In May, the Housing and Land Management Unit will launch a demonstration project in cooperation with Astana Innovation Foundation and private sector on building a smart city district in Astana. This experience then is expected to be replicated in several other countries in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have been able to demonstrate some of the ways in which we can successfully engage with the private sector to support our efforts towards the SDGs. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a fruitful conference. Thank you.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.